Hi, and welcome to Through the Lens of Tomorrow, a podcast where we explore the people, ideas, and innovations shaping what comes next. In each episode, we talk to inspiring founders, startups, and forward-thinking companies who are building the future while taking on some of the world's biggest challenges. Over the last couple of episodes, we have talked about just how much needs to change in the textile and fashion industry. But what about us as consumers? What role do we play in all of this? What kind of mindset shift is needed both for the industry and for us? And what are some of the real challenges if we are serious about building a truly circular textile and fashion system?
Came out of the customer problem that many of our customers has a full wardrobe but nothing to wear.
You need to turn the design process the other way around and look, okay, this is what we can get. What can we do out from this?
The aim is to design a new sustainable system because the system is broke.
In today's episode, we start by looking at something very simple. How we think about buying clothes in the first place. Let's hear from Ellen and Anett again from Science Park Borås at the University of Borås.
We need to start looking at clothes as something that you invest in rather than you consume. Because it's not a consumer product, it should be seen as an investment. Like, I really love this jacket. I'm willing to pay a higher price because I know that it's been sustainably made and designed, and there's also a value as a post-market value. So when I'm tired of this coat and I want a new one, I could sell it because it still has a value. But there's such a large fraction of clothing today that has no value, not even from the beginning. So we don't design value into them, we design them as like paper mugs or whatever.
And what roles can textile and fashion companies play here?
I think that our best opportunity is to affect the companies and get them to understand the feelings behind the better products on the market. But it's also interesting consumer behavior. Why do I buy this shirt? Because I have plenty of shirts at home. Do I really need one? Or is it because I need comfort or I need to feel more secure? What is it that creates the behavior? And I think that is interesting in combination with getting better products on the market. But the main thing is reduce the overconsumption and reduce the overproduction.
So we've heard that as consumers, we need to change the way we think about clothes. But what does that actually look like in real life?
Studies show that if you are a consumer that has less disposable income for clothes, for example, and you buy your clothes at one of the really cheap chains, at the end of the year, you would have spent as much money on buying new clothes that don't last because you have to buy new because they break or they tear, or everybody's had a t-shirt that's twisted in the washing machine where you get like a side seams all of a sudden or the front and the back. If they would have taken that money and invested into a few really high quality garments that they could then use for a number of years. So the spend is the same, but then you have to also change your spending behavior. So you would have to maybe save up to buy a winter jacket and then be okay with keeping that winter jacket for season on season on season, not buying into having, this is the new winter, this is this season's winter coat, and this is how you should look.
So how else can we change what we are consuming? Bella and Ida from Lindex share what they are now seeing, a growing market for premium secondhand.
What we could see is that many of our markets are longing for secondhand and are asking us when we are now focusing on Sweden, but are asking us when can we start with secondhand. So that's also a change in the customer mindset and what the customer wants.
How did you turn this into an opportunity for Lindex?
It was a project at start to see how we could
piloting a circular business model, and they started with secondhand, saying that was probably the most profitable one to start with. We have seen a change in the behavior for a couple of years now. We think it's much more, there's a big demand for secondhand. And for kids wear, it's been a big demand for a long time, but we can see it for women's wear. And we have the same target group for our second-hand business as our normal business. We don't see that it's another target group for that. We think it's the same clothing, just washed and used sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But we can also see that our customer has a really high trust in Lindex offering, that we have been evaluating every garment, and we can say that it's a premium second-hand. So we have very high trust, and they know when they come to the store, they are a really good quality. They are premium second-hand.
We collect the garments and then sell them. So it's like a distribution, just we can get all the garments and guarantee that there are no holes and no miscoloring or pilling.
And we receive and rewarding our customer. They are sending the garments to us, and they are being rewarded with member points.
It's pleasing to see innovation departments in large companies test and establish new ways of doing business to help create a circular and sustainable textile system. Mats Ekman from the incubator Borås Inc. tells us about one of the challenges of doing this at scale.
In order to sell pre-loved items, they should feel fresh, really fresh. And so this is really something that they are working with, to get this into an automated process on a large scale. That's the big issue, how to sort and how to refurbish all these kind of items.
We have looked at the consumer side of circular fashion, but how well does the industry understand what happens to our clothes once we buy them?
We know a lot in the industry. We've put a lot of research and money and resources into finding out how can we change how we design clothes, into recycling and reuse and what happens at the end stage, but we don't know anything about what the user actually does with the clothes. So this project is about finding different types of solutions or innovations or services to actually collect data, but not only quantitative data, but mainly qualitative data. Why did you choose your shirt that you have on today? For what reason? Why didn't you go with another shirt? Studies that show that we only use about 20% of what we bought in our wardrobes. And why is that? And that clothing and fashion, but clothing is so deeply connected to human behavior. Like, who do I want to be? How do I want other people to perceive me? We're calling this the wardrobe roulette. So we're going to do like a gamification of the selection process in the morning. We're developing a roulette, like a game, which we're going to hand out to a number of volunteers that work here, ask them to use it for a number of days in the morning when they choose their outfits, and let just coincidence and a random power to choose what you're going to wear, and then allow them to reflect on, okay, how do I feel about this, that it was selected for me without my interference? How does that make me feel? How did other people perceive me that day when I came to the office? Maybe I normally am always in a shirt and a pair of smart trousers, and today I came wearing like a floral skirt. And how did people think of me differently? What were the comments, if there were any? So just to get a bit of an insight, just a tiny snippet of like, how do people reflect on what they wear? So that's a very fun project, which we're excited to do. And then we've got also, because Science Park Borås is part of the Högskolan of Borås, so we have also the research perspective. So we have researchers connected to this project, gathering the data, doing some interviews and seeing what people actually think about this. So yeah, that's a fun part.
And as Bella and Ida from Lindex explain, we don't wear the clothes we buy.
Came out of the customer problem that many of our customers has a full wardrobe but nothing to wear.
You can think about it thinking, oh, could it really be a big problem? And yes, it is. Maybe not for all, but for the people that really think it is a problem, it could be a huge problem. And this program is really to find your unique style, so you can be confident in yourself and wearing what you would like to wear.
But that was not what we thought in the beginning. We knew we have done so much research about our customer journey, so we know the customer journey, and we know that the joy and excitement, it peaks when she's actually buying the garments. And then it's like a hill. And she stands in front of the wardrobe each morning and feels that, okay, it's full, I have nothing to wear. So you get this app, and each step is between 3 days and a week. We also have a community, a closed Facebook group, where we have Lindex coaches who will guide you and challenge you and help you. Here we can take step 3. It's about style and finding her style. So she begins with doing a test and a quiz to find out, okay, what type of mix of styles do I like? Then she can read about all the 8 styles, what's significant with them, and she can also look at different photos. And then we get a lexicon where she can get words, how to search more for her unique style. Also words which she thinks symbolize her styles. She will add. In this step, she will also do a mood board. And at the same time, in the Facebook group, she's challenged to interpret her mood board and to wear it in the upcoming week. So she's doing things here, and she's practically doing things with her style and things in her wardrobe. And then she reflects.
That's an important part of it as well, to reflect. So you really do working with your style.
This has really been a journey.
How is the innovation process at Lindex?
First we are sensing like a face, really exploring things, and then we iterate it and think maybe this could be changes some, and then we try to a small group customer, but still it needs to be like to really do it by real, and then we try to change again, and now we like a soft launch. Yeah, we have the keys. Yeah.
It's quite brave for clothing companies to build an app to use existing clothes rather than buy new clothes.
But still, we want our customers, we know that we will still need or want to buy new clothes, but we want our customers to buy clothes that she will really wear, that she loves, and she evaluates the purchase beforehand. So we know that that she finds her unique style and she knows what she has in her wardrobe, she knows what she wants, we will also help her in the long run to do good choices.
And we believe that's something in the future. You can't have that overconsumption that you have today. No. But could we have customers that love Lindex as a brand? We have won a lot.
It's fascinating to hear fashion companies working on initiatives to get consumers to buy less. And some of the things we should ask ourselves and consider before we consider adding a new piece of clothing to our wardrobe. What are some of the mindset shifts that are needed to create a circular textile and fashion system? Let's hear from Marie from Rekotex again.
You need to turn the design process the other way around and look, okay, this is what we can get. What can we do out from this? So it's also a shift to think in that way. We maybe need to see, okay, this is available. What can we do out from this? I think it's important because to be sustainable, the whole world has been open for designers and they can just sketch something. We want it to be in this color, with these dots, with this Pantone color and in this material. Then we send it to Asia or something and then it's more things happening in the process. Then the ready-made clothes come home to the warehouse. But in this way, you need to turn the design process the other way around and look, okay, this is what we can get. What can we do out from this? So it's also a shift to think in that way. I have been out in the schools talking about this, and I understand from the designers that they think this is an interesting challenge to work in another way.
Emil from Reparell explains their mindset.
We will always be looking for improvements. If I find another fabric or another yarn or another production process where I think that we can put it into commercial production, I will always try to do that. We have this idea that it should be possible to find a yarn containing even more trash than we use today to get to this ocean waste, for instance. It's 20% ocean waste because it's so degenerated, mixed with 80% landfill. We have this idea that with chemicals from BASF we should be able to use 30% or 21% or anything better than what's been done today. And if we find a recipe for such a yarn, instead of producing it in Europe, we should be able to, with this recipe, set up shop wherever in the world there is both trash and a textile industry. Our project at the moment is to find a way to make a recipe to be able to make local yarn on local trash on real already existing factories, because it's a mechanical process. You don't have to build a new factory for this as long as you do the compounding. So that's the fourth development step of Reparell. And now when we have this auto waste on the market, the development will focus on what to be released in 2 years. Hopefully we will get there. I don't know, at this point we are not looking for yarn, we are looking to create yarn. So be back in 10 years and I'll be running around searching for molecules or whatever. I mean, from trading garments to trading fabric to trading yarn to now creating yarn. It's a ladder in somewhere. I'm hoping that tomorrow there will be technology available to notch it one more step.
And we must learn to embrace failing and not be afraid of asking for help if we are going to make a real difference, say Lill von Twud and Kim Chernhed from Code for Value, who has invested in Twud.
There will be no innovations if we don't fail. So we really need to fail and need to be brave, and not only, as you say, fail and remake. We have to learn to do that, not just deliver things, because you do it the safe way, you know the outcome and everything. So you have to be outside the box. Not everyone.
No,
not
everyone.
Some needs to be.
But you also need to have people around you that can support you, even if you fail, and can say, hey, yeah, you failed, or not failed. You do like this, then we end this, and then we start again. And not only people that are like, when it's going really good, they want to stand beside you, and when it's going down, they leave. Because you need to have people around you that are there for you, not for the profit or for the win and so on. I think that's really important, because then you get innovation like Twud, and you get innovation by like many other things.
I mean, I think it is to follow your ideas and try them out. Don't give up. I mean, you have to be very persistent too, because you're also facing a really hard wall of old systems when you're trying to create a new one. And don't be afraid to ask for help, because people are really eager to help if you just ask them. So you have to be brave, I think. And I think also if you're my generation, I mean, many people my generation are very old school. So we need to rethink.
How important is it for larger companies to adapt a new mindset and test new things with innovation units to help create a circular textile and fashion system?
And we will really believe that it's important to have this innovation unit or innovation team to focusing on coming years.
Yeah. For secondhand, for instance, we are soon at a tipping point where the current business could handle it and scale it, and then our aim is to leave for new innovations.
It sounds like a lot of what we need to do is prolong the life of the textiles and clothes.
So many of the ideas that we get into us include some way of prolonging the lifespan of textiles.
They can really sell pre-loved items in a good way within their own store. So they help them to get them back onto the stores. At a lower cost, the designers and the companies can start thinking, okay, how should we price our stuff? Because we can sell them 2, 3, 4, 5 times now. And then if we close the loop, we get a much better economy as well. So it's just to get it started in their heads is really a race also to make.
That's Annelie and Mats from Borås Inc. To me, it sounds very much like no one can solve this problem alone.
There's not one player that can change the system. We need to cooperate to create the change, and that's different people with different experience from different industries. So you need the textile experience, but also we need experience from other businesses as well, because we can take good ideas from another industry and put it into the textile concept and get new inventions.
I think that's one of the key successes that we have here in this region, that we help each other a lot. It's all about collaboration, I would say, trade and industry, academy, science, and the ecosystem with the financing. So it's like a net, a spider web.
And Kevin Gelsi from Nudie Jeans explains the progress they are making, particularly using collaborations.
In terms of circularity, we're establishing some new partnerships right now. We're in a transitional phase of trying to centralize and industrialize our circular product flows. So the market in which we have gotten the farthest is the UK when it comes to like customer denim repairs. So in order to scale up these figures and just increasing our capacity of taking in more jeans, we partnered up with Advanced Clothing Solutions, ACS in Glasgow, and also on full scale for the denim repairs. So our 3 London stores are collecting on a daily basis these jeans that always have come in, but instead of making these repairs in store where we have limited capacity, they have a schedule of shipping these jeans to this third party, which is like a big scale industry or like a factory entity. They're more into like formal occasions rental wear from the beginning, but they have also adapted to additional circular solutions since that's like a part of their core. And that is running really smooth actually. And we're lowering a lot of the pressure on the stores. We're taking out the cap on how many jeans that we can take in. And now they're also on the brink of starting to produce reused jeans for us. So that's also flow that we want to handle more as a regular product. And we have the potential, as you see, to sort of double the reuse collection if we work with an external third party, which can put more time in the curation of these products and making them into sellable product with a fine finish. And we're doing the same thing in Central Europe as we speak, but we're in the pilot phase there. In Australia, we haven't set up this yet. I would say that's our second largest market after Europe. But there we have these other collaborations, like with the blankets and new suppliers who can process like our circular product streams and making something like fruitful out of it. So I mean, those external collaborations are key if we want a closed loop in big scale. Because what we've seen up until today, I mean, it's a great foundation that we have, but there are still gaps.
It's nice to hear so many great examples. But despite these initiatives, it sounds like if we talk more generally across the industry, then there is a need to be even bolder.
That's when we talk about our courage to support even ideas that maybe others wouldn't really bring on. We need to be a bit bold, and therefore we also look for bold ideas. So I think the industry needs to get new eyes into their companies and to get help to find out ways to move fast towards a circular business, because we don't have that much time.
So how do we create the right conditions for circular innovations to really take off in the textile and fashion industry?
By making it possible to connect and to share ideas. Like we have workshops where we invite from all areas, companies, students, scientists, startups. And with this combination of networking and discussions, so many good ideas pop up. We've had really good results actually when we've had workshops here, and a small team sitting together with this mix of people come up with an idea that can actually be sellable, that is really new. Then we know that we succeeded.
It's an enormous force when you put so many people together from different backgrounds and they start to discuss something, and you have, for instance, a challenge on the table. How should we find a solution for it? And everyone put together, and it's an enormous force. And if you were one person doing that, you wouldn't have solved it. But by doing this, they solved it on an afternoon. I mean, that's really a huge force. It's really powerful, yes.
And having a mixture of skills and roles to bring innovation in a large company is important.
So I talk for both of us, we are in love in the methodology and our innovation system, and we are really good in the beginning and not so good in the end. Then we need other competences to scale it. So this is not our baby like that.
For founders and startups, having the right network and contacts can make all the difference when creating a positive change.
So for all these startups, we also support with the network and to be able to connect with businesses and with the brands and the retailers, and do cooperations on a project form early stage, and then be their supplier for any type of service that they can provide.
Change on this scale needs people to work together in new ways. Building a circular fashion system means collaboration across the industry, sometimes even with competitors.
Also, Borås, you have this spirit that you cooperate together with others. And you can help another guy that really is a competitor to you, but helping him brings you business as well. So in this way of thinking has been a Borås spirit, and I think that's important that you have this cooperation in between.
So it's really about open collaboration for the greater good. And it's great to hear real examples of that happening in practice. But of course, it's not always easy. What are some of the challenges when it comes to building a circular textile and fashion system?
I think there are many challenges and issues. Of course, if it really should be circular, you need to find solutions for doing new clothes from old clothes. And I think that's one of the big challenges. As we work with the second-hand, that's a pure new business model within the system. And of course, it's a lot of challenges finding the supply chain of collecting garments and then sell them again. And also that like you have to handle it here, and the labor is very costly here when you inspect and value the garments again. And you need to handle the unique items as well.
If we're going to solve the waste crisis in the world, we have to look at the process globally. And then we have to realize some problems with mechanical recycling. We have to realize some problems with chemical recycling. I mean, in chemical recycling of textiles, textile to textile, you lose approximately 40% of the material in the process. Still, virgin polyester will be too cheap, and it's going to be hard to compete for a lot of years. But again, with storytelling, with companies willing to accept that, okay, we are more expensive, but we help to tell the story and we help to make it worth it anyway.
When it comes to the textile waste, and we also have the old system colliding with the new system, so you really need to try and fail and redo things, because we still you can't change people's mind so quickly, so it will take years and years before we get a sustainable textile system. And it's try and error to find the right way. And it's not just one problem we are facing, it's huge and a lot of problems.
But maybe the biggest challenge of all is creating real system change. But how do we actually make that happen?
Anett is working as part of a really big project. The aim is to design a new sustainable system, because the system is broke.
In that project we work with municipalities that gather the textile material, and also charity organizations that do the same. But we also work with the brands and the recycle industry in this, so that we can find all these bits and parts that needs to work together to get a circular system. I think to get a system change, it's the policies and regulations that is needed. You need to have an infrastructure for it. For example, we need an infrastructure for repairs and remake, and we don't need an infrastructure to gather the material so that all customer finds it easy to hand in their textiles. And then you need the right products, as we said and talked about, and the right production together with that. Human behavior, we need to work with that change, and the business models connected to that. So if we can get these 5 parts to work together, then I think we can create a system change.
Over the first 3 episodes of Through the Lens of Tomorrow, we have explored the opportunities, the challenges, and the many ways founders, startups, and companies across West Sweden are working to build a circular textile and fashion system. But if real system change is going to happen, it takes more than good ideas. It needs an open mindset, a strong spirit of collaboration, and a willingness to experiment and sometimes fail along the way. Because in the end, building a new system means creating one that values people and cares for the world we live in. We have been inspired by the people we have met for these first episodes, and we hope you have too. If you want to find any more information about the people and the companies we have interviewed, please do look at the show notes. We really hope you have enjoyed our first episodes of Through the Lens of Tomorrow as much as we have had making them. And a big thank you to all our guests, and a special thank you for you too for listening. And if you enjoyed the show, hit follow so you don't miss our next episode, where we look at smart textiles. What are they? How could the clothes we wear potentially save our life in the future? And talk to some inspiring people changing the world next time on Through the Lens of Tomorrow.
So the textile reacts when it gets cool. People that can't talk, maybe the textile can speak for them.
The possibility to replace either outside of the human being or inside as implants with some kind of a soft, pliable muscles. Yeah, it would be a revolution.
One guy said it's like floating on clouds. As soon as the airbag takes the hit, it doesn't even hurt.
And if you have a moment, a 5-star review really helps others find the podcast and keeps the momentum going. And please, do leave a comment. We would love to hear your thoughts. This podcast is made by Move to Gothenburg, an initiative run by the West Sweden Chamber of Commerce and co-founded by the European Union, Region Västra Götaland, and several companies, universities, and public organizations in the region.